Top of the morning, everybody. Today is Friday, August 29th. I'm John Weigell here with Maria Gharib, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Meta is dropping $10 billion on a massive AI data center in rural Louisiana, covering 4 million square feet. Bigger than Disneyland. Meanwhile, Google is staring down a $26 billion loss in search deals from its antitrust case, which might just free up some cash to throw at AI. We'll talk about all that and more in today's AI update, and we'll get to all that and the biggest headlines in business and tech right after this. HubSpot helped Tumblr solve a big problem. They needed to move fast to produce trending content, but their marketing team was stuck waiting on engineers to code every single email campaign. Now they use HubSpot's customer platform to email real-time, trending content to millions of users in just seconds. The impact? 3 times more engagement and double the content creation. Want to move fast like Tumblr? Visit HubSpot.com. Okay, starting our headlines off, New Jersey's American Dream Mall has everything. It has an indoor ski resort, a water park, and really silly legal troubles. The mall's owner was sued by a neighboring town, Paramus, for violating an archaic country law banning clothing sales on Sundays. So they're going to have to fight that in court. Next, company Aurelian makes AI voice assistants that help chronically understaffed 911 call centers by transferring emergencies to dispatchers while writing reports on non-emergency calls, which are noise complaints, parking violations, and etc., or transferring them to police departments. The startup's tech is already in use in U.S. cities including Kalamazoo, Michigan, great name, and Chattanooga, another great name, in Tennessee. And it just raised a $14 million Series A funding per TechCrunch to start seeing this pop up all around the U.S. probably. Speaking of around the U.S., Atlanta's software automation raised $20 million to grow Sewbot, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's autonomous sewing robot, which uses machine vision, AI, and machine learning like everything else these days. This time in service of just making clothes. Software, the company is software like wearing clothes, says Sewbot costs apparelers about the same as importing clothes from low-wage countries, while also helping them dodge ethical labor landmines. So we're going to probably start seeing fleets of robots making clothes. And finally, if you're super strapped for cash and can't get out to Venice this summer, there's a better way to get a taste of it, which is actually tasting it at this place called Canal Cafe, which is a pop-up project by design firm Diller Scofidio and Renfro that brews espresso, get this, with purified water straight from Venice's famous and very polluted canals. So you could actually have some Venice canal water. I don't know if you were going to go there, if you were going to drink it anyways, but at least have some of it this summer. Why not? And for more headlines like that, you can subscribe to the show and we'll have more for you tomorrow. But right now we're getting to our AI update of the week with Maria from the Mindstream newsletter. Let's dive on in. Maria, welcome back to the show this week. We got another AI update coming, so thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And as we do every week, can you talk to me about something that really stood out to you this week in the world of AI?
Yeah, I did write about something very, very cool. Google's AI-powered language lessons that is like straight into Google Translate. So one of the coolest things I came across this week, honestly, and I'm a foreigner in another country, so it comes in handy for a lot of people when it comes to students or people that are relocating from one thing to another. Google is like sliding AI-powered language lessons straight into Google Translate, and it's still in beta, but basically it is Gemini, which is Google's AI model, now can create personalized lessons based on your skill level and while you're learning the language, which is, awesome. If you, let's say, are brushing up your Spanish here because you want to study abroad, etc., or like you got accepted into another job and you have to travel to Spain, it actually builds scenarios for you, like talking to your host family about meal times, or like if you want to get an apartment, you can talk to your landlord, etc., and then lets you practice those conversations in real time.
Wow.
Wild. My favorite part is that there's also a live translation, which is a back and forth kind of thing. And it's 70 plus languages. So you can talk with others on so many levels and with so many languages. And it's not giving Duolingo our energy yet. Understandable, because Duolingo is a bit, advanced, but it's a huge step.
Yes, of course.
In my opinion, huge competitor for Duolingo.
Yeah, that's a big step. I'm glad you mentioned Duolingo, because the first thought that came across my mind is when you have a trip coming up or when you need to learn a little bit of a language, the go-to is generally Duolingo. Download the app, start taking lessons. But this, I guess, presents kind of an alternative in a way that's AI powered. And I guess people aren't necessarily mad about it being AI powered because it's starting that way versus Duolingo that kind of developed that identity. Yeah, it seems like an interesting competitor eventually for Duolingo. And I think you said that you could see it competing in the future.
Yeah, in my opinion, a lot of people have Google as their default kind of, whether it was an app or whether it was like a browser. So it could be a competitor because we always default back to the original.
Yeah, right.
It's a possibility. Who knows?
Yeah. And Google Translate is used by a ton of people as well. So having that functionality in there is a smart idea, actually. I don't know why they haven't done it sooner.
Me neither. That's what I was asking. When I saw it, I was like, it should have been something in like 2010.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Also, let's stick with Google a little bit here because we talked a ton about SEO. Google search is getting upheaval right now. It's all AI search. It's all like AIO. Now, Google is reportedly going to lose maybe $26 billion in search deals for this antitrust case they're going through. We're still waiting for a verdict on that. But people have reported that this actually might be a good thing for Google because they could direct that $26 billion that they've gotten from search deals and take that money out of search and put it into AI. What do you make of that? Do you think that they're really going to be dialing in their AI game if this goes that way?
Well, I think the keyword right here is might lose $26 billion. It is not definite, honestly. It's Google. We're talking about a huge conglomerate. So if these default search deals get shut down, it could happen. But in my opinion, it's less of like a crisis, more of a strategy shift. That money isn't disappearing. It's likely getting redirected straight into Google's AI game, especially Gemini and AI mode. Right now, Perplexity is handling about 15 million daily queries, which sounds pretty good. But you have to remember, Google is still sitting on 10 billion. So, it's still the OG. Redirecting that cash into Gemini could make Google's AI-powered search faster, smarter, and way more personalized, potentially widening the gap, not closing it. And this is where it gets interesting. If Google ramps up Gemini, it's also stepping directly into the same competitive lane as players like Anthropic and others. The real race isn't just who owns search anymore, it's who builds the AI layer everyone relies on. If you rely on something, you're going to start using it over and over again. And it's going to be your default, as we've said before. So Google has always been the default for a lot of people. It could be a redirection rather than, a shutdown, as people think.
Yeah, totally. And it's also interesting because I remember a few weeks ago, we talked about the Perplexity Google kind of thing where Perplexity's trying to acquire Google Chrome. I think that deal's not going to happen. No. But they did offer to acquire Google Chrome for that antitrust case as well. So, we'll see how Google, like if they have to offload any of these kind of things, they'll see how they do it and kind of redirect to the AI of it all. But let's talk about Chrome a little bit because another update came up this week. Perplexity's not involved in Chrome, but Anthropic is. Anthropic is instilling Claude into Chrome as an AI agent, as an attachment there. What are your thoughts on the agents coming directly into the browser without you even having to look for them?
Anthropic that just launched Claude for Chrome, as we said, it's basically an AI agent that lives right inside your browser. So it's part of your browser right now. And it's in a small research preview, but the whole idea of it is absolutely wild. You can chat with Claude in a side panel. And if you give it like a permission, it can actually take actions for you while you're doing the browsing. So, because we live on our phones and on our laptops 24/7, it's kind of ideal.
Yeah.
It's part of this bigger land grab happening around browsers. And Perplexity has its own Comet browser. Google's, Gemini is already built into Chrome. And I think OpenAI is rumored. I'm not going to say they are doing it, but it's rumored that they're working on their own. Whoever wins the browser wins the user because you're using browsers every single day. It's the front door to everything online.
Exactly.
Anthropic's probably taking a careful approach into this, especially around security, because they've added protection against prompt injection attacks. Prompt injection attacks are the new pirating, in my opinion. So basically, these are sneaky hacks hidden on websites, and they're keeping Claude locked away from, of the financial and sensitive data by default.
Right.
It's in its early days, but this is where it's heading. Your browser won't just show you the internet. It's about to start doing things for you. And love that for us. If it's more automated, then yeah, please, thank you. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll take it, right?
Please
I'll
do
take
that.
all the help I can get.
Thank you.
And last thing I wanted to talk about today, you mentioned a bit of a land grab in the AI space. Definitely want to talk about that in like a physical sense because Meta seems to have spent a lot, shocker, on AI. But this most recent $10 billion was spent on actual physical locations, a rural Louisiana AI center with 4 million square feet for AI data centers. You can see the plans online. It looks pretty evil. It looks cool. Do you think a ton of rural land can expect to see this change as the AI ecosystem grows? Because we've kind of seen this story happen before with like all these random places you would never expect tech to get into. They're starting to creep into.
Yeah. Zuck, if you're hearing this, I want a new iPhone. You're spending money on like a lot of stuff. So like, just get me a new iPhone. Thank you so much.
Perhaps he could do Meta Ray-Ban glasses for you. Maybe that could be his contribution.
I don't like that. I don't like Ray-Ban. If they can partner up with like Prada, that would be awesome. I'm a Prada girly, Chanel girly, maybe.
Okay.
Just do that.
All right.
Right?
We're going Lux over here with our specs.
This is bigger than Disneyland, huge. You know, like
Yeah,
and
it's
Disneyland's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking $10 billion in AI data center in rural Louisiana. And it's called Hyperion.
Crazy name.
And it's giving sci-fi a bit, like, which is,
Very sci-fi.
And it's Meta. So it's going to do sci-fi eventually. It's 4 million square feet of server designed to power the next generation of Meta's AI models. Why Louisiana, you ask? Because it makes the most sense. It's affordable land, it has
Cheap
access
land.
to energy, and it's giving them room to scale.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Honestly, this feels like a start of a bigger trend. We're basically going to see a lot more rural areas becoming AI superclusters as the industry grows. For the locals, it means more jobs, more investments, which is awesome for them.
Sure.
This is what we want to see. We want to see more job openings especially for people in like these rural areas. For Meta, it's like a play for superintelligence dominance, and I think they are about to win it in terms of superintelligence, in my opinion. It's giving small town meets big tech energy. I love small town stuff. It makes me so happy. And honestly, it's kind of like a fascinating thing to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really hope that it grows and makes any small town grow and prosper. This is what we want to see.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, you'd have to think about the jobs here. Maybe they'll have some people locally, but also I'm sure they'll like outsource a lot of people like AI engineers, people of all kinds to start living in these like rural communities to make it maybe more decentralized from like these big tech hubs of like San Francisco, Seattle, all these different places. So
100%.
that is interesting. As for like the locals, like what jobs they could do.
Create some stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, this giant AI center needs upkeep. So I'm sure there's a good incentive also for the Louisiana government or whatever state government that these places are in to take in these places because they are huge, huge help for the state for the funding. So it makes a lot of sense.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, anyways, thank you so much, Maria, for being a part of the AI update once again this week.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.
All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show, everybody. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll see you next week.
Look, I'm going to be straight with you. Everybody's talking about AI, but most people are just playing around with ChatGPT instead of actually making money from it. That's why we dropped the ultimate crash course to create your own AI side hustle in 7 days. We're talking real frameworks and strategies from the pros like the founder of The Hustle, Sam Parr. It includes mini guides, templates, the whole 9 yards, stuff that takes years to figure out, condensed into 1 week. Stop what you're doing right now and grab it in the show notes. Your future self will thank you.